What are we talking about? Oh, we should talk about the opening scene, definitely.
Oh yes, actually, a good point. What do you mean? You mean the new song, or
No. I mean before Bond gets shot off a moving train by a
the action sequence?
Black Moneypenny.
Yes, yes.
It's gone.
You both know what's at stake here.
There isn't much road left.
Take the bloody shot.
Personally, I kind of almost. I mean, I love the introduction where Bond appears and they have that dun, like really sudden, just to suddenly kind of shakes you out the seat, and he's kind of creeping up the corridor, and that's cool. But actually, I was actually finding the sequence quite boring, actually, really, until they got onto the train. And also, just for the record, did you notice that massive fucking ammo thing underneath that guy's, like, Uzi pistol thing when he comes out of the car? What the fuck was that? And it disappears in the next section where he shows him with the gun.
No.
It doesn't have it. It's really weird.
I've seen this twice now.
Oh, have you? Oh, okay.
And so I actually thought that the first time I was watching, I was thinking, he's got a different gun now, because basically that first one's kind of attached to his arm.
Yeah, it's
and it's like more of like a harness, like with a machine pistol, and it fires extremely fast. And it's got these massive ammo casings below it. He throws that on the ground, then he jumps on the motorbike and speeds up.
I didn't remember seeing that.
He does.
The moment I saw it, I was like, right, I'm going to pay attention to that, because I'm sure that doesn't look right.
Yeah, no, it's not exactly accented like him actually doing it. It's not something you're really supposed to notice, but he does chuck it on the floor, so it's not just it disappears off his arm.
Right. It seemed, because I think also late in the scene you do see him shooting again, and it's not there. So I was just like, what?
He pulls another gun out.
But I think when Bond finally gets into the kind of the digger on the train, and he's like clawing open like the carriages and stuff, I thought all of that was cool, and also obviously the stuff under the kind of the tunnel, I thought that was all great. But the rest of it, I was just kind of like, yeah, okay. I thought same
it was
usual
great.
Bond, really.
I thought they ramped it up at the perfect pace. I thought they introduce him, they come in, he goes down that dark corridor, as you say, with the duh, suddenly.
Yeah, that was great. I love
kind of gets you into it. He hits another agent, obviously another MI6 agent who's been injured, and I like the instant morality choice of having to leave the agent or complete the mission that he's faced with.
As someone though who had recently watched both Casino Royale and Quantum Solace in like preparation for seeing this, though, although it was good to kind of reaffirm that, I wasn't really surprised by it, as it were, because obviously in those two movies there's that whole thing of like, you need to be objective, you can't get your emotions tied in, and that's a big theme in Casino Royale with his relationship with the Moneypenny and that.
You said you weren't motivated by revenge.
I'm motivated by my duty.
I think you're so blinded by inconsolable rage that you don't care who you hurt. When you can't tell your friends from your enemies, it's time to go.
You don't have to worry about me.
So yeah, it's cool, but it wasn't like, oh wow, or anything for me.
That's actually something I'm going to come back towards the end about, but what you're talking about, the whole Bond continuing from an old Bond, I'll talk about that more towards the end.
Yeah, it's kind of sequel Bond, shall we?
But I don't like that at all. I think Bond films should be standalone.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's because that's the thing, though. Bond is so kind of drenched in tradition now. It is a traditional thing almost. It's not even really a franchise. It's just kind of like you just expect a Bond movie to come out and it's done in a certain way, and that's what you expect of it. But overall, you like that intro sequence then?
I thought it was great. I thought it was a really good way to set up. And then
I liked him getting shot, and I absolutely adored the theme, Adele's theme tune, and the kind of all the kind of animated graphic stuff they do in Bond intros. I thought that was really excellent as well.
I did think that was good. I'm
really?
Still not. No. I thought it was good.
You did? Sorry.
Yeah, no, but I'm not right there with the Adele song. I like it, and I like the sound of it, and I like the sound. I like the music.
It's a bit more traditional.
I need Tina Turner. I need like someone with a more powerful voice. Like,
you need Whitney Houston, but she's dead, unfortunately.
Whitney Houston, Tina Turner. But Adele has got a powerful voice. I mean, I've heard it in other songs that she can sing. I just felt that it was a bit tame on the big build-up parts.
I I don't know. I thought it did enough for me. I think I'd heard the theme tune before I'd seen the film, and I thought it was only kind of because they had the music video on YouTube, and all it is just like the lyrics coming up.
Let the sky fall and it crumbles.
And then seeing that compared to the actual intro in the film, it was a lot more impressive with those images of Daniel Craig and stuff. So I overall liked that a lot more. What was the next bit you wanted to talk about?
Well, no, I was just going to compare that to the previous Bond songs as well.
Oh, go for it.
Like the Conor Solace one, Jack White and Alicia Keys.
I like that. I actually like that.
Go die in a well. Oh no, it's not good.
I like it. I actually really like it. I've got it on my computer.
The Chris Cornell one was good.
I liked all three of them. I like all three of them.
That second one is bollocks.
I like it.
I like
the White Stripes. I like Jack White.
The White Stripes. I like Jack White. I do not like that song for Bond.
I have to agree to disagree then in that case. I liked it.
Hippie.
So after the intro, we've got Bond on the beach. He sees there's the explosion at MI6. What else happens?
Don't get ahead of yourself because there's that awesome bit with the Scorpion.
Yeah,
there was really tension built. I thought that was great. I thought that was a really nice little thing to add
in. It was great, but it's not like it's in the trailer. It
deserves a mention.
Okay, fine. Jesus Christ! Yes, the Scorpions, the CGI Scorpions acting
wasn't CGI. It was real.
It was.
No, it
fucking.
wasn't.
What, are you going to tell me that the fucking lizards in the Shanghai weren't fake either? I'm sorry, but all the animals are fucking CGI in that film.
Daniel Craig told me he was like that was real.
Is this when he was wheeling you up the red carpet?
Yeah.
This guy, that scene? Yeah, that was real. It was great.
But that scene's really where the first kind of, again, another morality choice for him. Should he stay dead? Really?
Yeah, I loved all that because it was great character building. Kind of switching from that and then immediately into him still being at the bar in the morning and he's still drinking, and like when you see him at M's home and he just looks like a fucking wreck with stubble and he just looks haggard. I love that. I love it that he's kind of like a broken down man and he's not the perfect agent, as it were, and they kind of emphasise that a lot in this film, don't they?
They have one question. Why not stay dead? There's no shame in saying you've lost a step.
Throughout, it's just constantly quips at what's wrong with him. Like, they talk about what's wrong with him, and even when he's talking to Silver, like he even sarcastically says, well, Silver's going over his flaws, he sarcastically adds, "Oh, and my pathetic love of country," which at the end of the day isn't actually one of the flaws that he has. I mean, it's one of the strengths he goes.
It's one of those ones where a weakness is a strength and a strength is a weakness sort of dealio, where his patriotism kind of clouds his judgment, but it also what makes him what he is and what makes him as a great agent as well. It's a double-edged sword, really, isn't it? But yeah, I suppose we should talk about Silver then a bit.
Yeah, I was about to say Silver, who was awesome.
So you liked Mr. Javier Bardem as Mr. Blondie Silverman?
Yeah, I liked Javier Bardem.
I already think he's a great actor, and I didn't need to be convinced of that otherwise, really. I thought he was good. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say I loved him in it, I thought he was good.
No, I thought he was a great Bond villain. I mean, compared to some of the other ones we've had.
He kind of looked more like a Bond villain.
I think he was
he was kind of a bit ludicrous looking, wasn't he?
No, I think he was. I think he was crazy enough to be. I'm about to do what you desperately want to do, and I'm going to compare this to a Nolan film. But I think he was very much a Nolan villain in the fact that he was ridiculous enough to pass as what he needed to be, but serious enough to not be a joke.
It wasn't so much. It was kind of treading that boundary of believability, isn't it? Which is what Nolan does in his Batman films pretty damn well, really. Most of the time.
I did like the addition of him looking a bit crazier when he takes out his metal plated mouthpiece. I liked that real kind of, right, this guy is fucking scary.
Yeah, he is nuts, and I'm all for that. But I think this is one of the downsides of when you see it in IMAX, and when you're someone like me who's watched way too many behind the scenes and making of the films. All I could go is just like, oh, I can really tell that CGI on this bigger IMAX screen because the definition is so good. But yeah, I could just notice how obvious where kind of like he began and the kind of the CGI began, as it were. But yeah, I thought that was cool. A little bit. I didn't really think cyanide poisoning really did that much I didn't think it melted your face away. It was good. I can't really say much more than that, really. There was nothing really bad, and there was nothing really outstanding about his performance. It was just solid. And despite him being in quite a lot of the film, I don't know, it didn't feel that developed his character, personally.
I do know what you mean. I mean, he's in the background for a lot of it, because his actions kind of kick-start the film. He bombs MI6. Well, no,
not him person. Well, yes, yeah, well, because it's done via computer, so he did it personally.
He bombs it. He causes a gas explosion at MI6 using how hacks their computer system and lets the gas out. And that's what kicks Bond back into action, a terrorist attack on the MI6 building. That kind of inadvertently drags him back to his home country, back to he feels like he's needed.
Yeah,
which is that's what kickstarts the film. And he's always a presence, but then he doesn't pop up until halfway through the film.
He's not a visual presence. He's a presence in that he's responsible for certain actions in the film, but they leave the reveal of him very, very late. And although his introduction with his monologue when he comes out of the lift and he kind of that's that one shot and unedited that he's kind of walking down, and he's telling the story of the two rats on the island. That's cool. It kind of feels diminished because that kind of section has been shown in just about every single trailer for the film.
Just look at you, chasing spies. England, MI6. She sent you after me, know when you're not ready, know when you would likely die. Mommy was very bad.
So that kind of impact of revealing him is kind of deflated somewhat, I felt. Although it was good, it just didn't have the same impact compared to if they hadn't shown him.
The scene with the whiskey is very good, I thought, on her head.
The whiskey.
When he shoots
when he shoots her in the head. Spoiler. I thought that was cool.
I thought that was the ways like I
liked how quickly. I liked how they didn't do the typical film thing where after James Bond had missed shooting the glass whiskey off her head, that rather than they would do the typical tension thing where they'd have lots of different shots of Silver pointing his gun and everyone looking nervous, that he almost immediately just took his shot and shoots her. And I liked that. It was kind of just dismissing that kind of whole film trope, as it were.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I do want to mention, Kincaid. He's basically the groundskeeper at the Skyfall, which is Bond's
at Skyfall. Spoilers. Skyfall is the building where James Bond used to live as a kid.
Yeah. And basically he's played by Albert Finney, but casting rumours before Albert Finney was cast was Sean Connery might come back to play that.
Sean Connery.
Yeah.
See, that would be treading into that kind of whole postmodernism, like with the car thing and stuff. I think that would be a step too far, personally.
Yeah. You can just imagine, like, you jumped up, little shit.
Yeah.
It would have been hilarious.
That was a good line. It was much needed comic relief, I felt, at that point.
Yeah.
It's a good line.
Yeah, because they're building this whole tension-based thing. M's getting hunted, and they've fled to Scotland, and
Yeah.
everything's going to shit, and then they make this old guy really puts Bond in his place.
Yeah. Well, so he should be, or should do. Sorry. It is appropriate. I liked it.
Yeah, that was good.